Hello. Hi, everybody. What is today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I feel like we still don't know what days it is. My name is Dana Bakich. Thank you guys for joining. I am the CEO and founder of Positive Equation. And I'm really excited today because we are going to have a round 2 conversation with Kristina von Hoffman from Climate Resolve, all about their virtual event that they did back in July. We talked to her right before it happened. I want to say she was maybe a month out at that time frame, about their preparations for the event, why they chose Remo, which we will go into details on. So I want this to be an interactive conversation. We're going to leave a little bit of time at the end for some Q&A. But let me know, where are you tuning in from? In the comments, I love to know where everybody is. So drop us a note. For those of you that don't know, I moved about a month ago from Los Angeles to Atlanta. So I am now back on the East Coast, and Christina is joining us bright and early from Los Angeles. So please let us know where you're tuning in from, and are you in the process of planning your own virtual event? And if so, I would love to know in the comments. Let us know yes or no. What platforms are you thinking about? When is it going to be? What are your goals? All that information, because this is kind of going to be a brainstorming session for you as well. So if you're in the process of planning a virtual event, and let us know where you're tuning in from, I would love to see those responses in the comments. So to kind of kick us off today, this is going to be a really casual, fun conversation, hopefully with a lot of great nuggets for you to take back to your team. Kristina von Hoffman is the Senior Operations Director at Climate Resolve, and I'm going to play a short video that showcases a little bit of the highlights from their recent Coolest in LA event using Remo, and then we will bring her on to do a little bit of an interview and presentation on some highlights. So again, use those comments. Put any questions in there that you have about your virtual event, about using Remo. Maybe there's a certain platform that you're planning to use, but you're not sure. So again, this is your time. This is our time together. So let's go ahead and roll this video, and then we'll get this interview started. All right, that was awesome. Let's go ahead and bring Kristina on camera.
Hi.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Or good afternoon. Good to see you too. I know, I'm getting used to that. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm excited to have you back for a recap conversation on how the event went. And I think it's best for anybody who maybe didn't catch the first video, we can rewind a little bit and kind of talk us through where you were back when you had to make the decision to pivot to using a virtual platform, and why did you choose Remo?
Yeah, so wow, way back when, in mid-March, we had planned to have our gala in person, like all the other nonprofit folks, in a really fabulous event venue in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Football Club Stadium. We were going to do it in a private club. Beautiful. We're an environmental organization. It's a LEED Platinum stadium. It's pretty remarkable. And we were really excited about it also because it was our 10-year anniversary celebration as well as our annual gala. But we, a week before the event, postponed until July based on our understanding of the moment scientific reports, right? We were looking at the science. We're a science-based organization. It's in our nature. And it looked like there was going to be an arc, and, it would peter off in time for the event, give us a little bit of breathing room even. Obviously, all of that changed. So about a month after, I had been at home doing lots of research on, how to save a nonprofit during a pandemic. Thankfully, we've been all right.
Yeah.
But then I started to get into researching online platforms because we knew we were going to have to change it one more time and pivot again to a virtual event platform. And so I got pretty deep into some research online, looking at what options were out there. And ultimately, we decided on Remo. I just knew that I really didn't want to have it on Zoom. Like Zoom fatigue was all of a sudden everyone's favorite new phrase.
Yes, I know. It's become a new noun.
Yeah, it just was relentless, and so I really understood that I didn't want to keep people in a kind of a passive participating environment, right? I wanted to do our best to engage our guests, because for Climate Resolve, the big value add, I think like a lot of folks, for our gala, is the networking experience. And because we work at the center of so many different facets of the environmental world of climate solutions, we bring together people from private industry, from government, public service, and also from advocacy, from NGOs like ours. And so it's a really unique opportunity to have everyone in the room together. And we knew if we could do something at least somewhat similar to that, we wanted to run with it. And so that's where Remo came into play.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. So I've done a demo since we talked on Remo, and I'd love to know, because a lot of the conversation that nonprofits have is around usability for attendees. So as far as the user flow as a participant for this platform, can we run through what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to check out the slides? We can take a look at the slides too. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, so as you saw in the highlights video, Remo drops you into this platform that looks somewhat like a floor plan from above. It's got multiple floors, and you
is this
pay for
5 out of 10 floors?
This is us using 5 out of 10 floors, correct. Yeah, we bring about 300 people together each year. We had over 330 registered, but we obviously, with all events, you experience some level of attrition. We ended up having 275 people still attend, which was pretty fantastic. And so each floor holds 114 guests at tables of 6, as you can see here. And there's 19 tables. And so we set aside these tables here for our sponsors on the first floor. And on the second floor, we actually had tables organized by theme. So to make the virtual networking experience a little bit more user-friendly and kind of ease into it, we organized tables by topics in the climate space, right? Maybe it's transportation, or maybe it was about equity. We had tables organized in that space to make it a little bit easier for people to connect with each other. And then on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors, we just gave the tables fun California themed names and said, we know a lot of you know each other. It's a pretty small world. And so it's a nice time to catch up. And so we left a bunch of tables open for people to take advantage of, just to, catch up with new friends, or catch up with old friends, or, have a side conversation with new connections.
That's awesome. So if I was an attendee and I come into the event, does it automatically seat me somewhere and then I move myself around?
Yeah, great question. That was actually one of the things we heard from people in our feedback survey about, that was maybe something Remo can improve upon. You do get dropped into a random table. But that being said, when you come in, your video and your microphone are off. So your icon is visible, but people can't see you. So you can just keep that off, and then you just double click on any empty seat, right? You see these blue seats open, and then you would jump to that table. You could catch up with friends there. And then turn your camera and your microphone on to participate. Also, just for people interested in the platform, it's really designed to function the best on desktop or laptop. You can do the networking on tablet or on mobile, but to do the presentation mode, which I'll talk about in just a bit, you really should be on a computer, and it works best on Chrome or Firefox. So there are a couple of constraints there, though we found that we were really able to meet most of our folks' needs with the desktop or laptop experience.
That's great. And then also I noticed too, you mentioned the sponsors. So if all of the videos at the top were removed, because that's one table. So what we're seeing right now, right, is these 5 people sitting at a table able to see all of their videos, but under LA DWP, and I can't see that, but those are all sponsor logos you were able to put on, right?
Yes, absolutely. So this was a really nice feature, and this really helped us with rebranding and repackaging our sponsorship deck for our sponsors. So all of these were our honoree tables here. These were our silver sponsors, but anyone gold and above got one of these side tables where if you clicked on that logo, not only do you see the logo here, it appears on every floor. And if you click on it, it opens into a pop-up box with a video that showcases, it could be any video that the sponsor wanted to use for marketing purposes, and also has a button that you can customize the language in that will take you to a link in your browser. And because Remo doesn't have to be downloaded like Zoom, you're just looking at it through your Chrome or your Firefox browser, it just pops open into another tab that you can check out during the event or afterwards, which was nice.
Awesome. I'm over here taking notes.
Yeah.
I hope everybody else is taking notes.
Yeah, one other thing, just since you pointed that out, and sorry I don't have more of a clear picture of it, but over here at the Climate Resolve table, we had one of these on every single floor. And so what we did is, because it just worked out with the space, we turned this, if you can see here, I know it's kind of small, but we turned this into an FAQ table. So we had a help desk with a Climate Resolve staff member on every single floor, even on the 5th floor where there were barely any folks hanging out. Just so if anyone was kind of quote unquote lost or, looking for a little bit of advice about how to fix a bug, they could click over to the Climate Resolve table and ask a question of any of our staff members.
Awesome.
Remo has that function, which you can see here in the bottom left corner. And it's a chat bot. It's been pretty good for me throughout, having run a bunch of dress rehearsals and things like that to ask questions off the cuff. But I wanted some, people that we knew would be there that our attendees knew would be there for them on the night of the event. So just to ease the transition into a new software platform.
Awesome. So the other thing I remember from the demo is, as an individual, and correct me if I'm wrong, can't you also add like your LinkedIn and information about? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to share that too. This was a really nice feature as well. So at our gala, we actually we don't really do name tags because it's more of a cocktail reception event and just a night of celebration. Our boss just doesn't really love a name tag on his suit for the night of the event. And so it's more of an organic networking experience, less of a conference. So what you have are these great digital business cards in Remo that allow you to see who all those little tiny icons are, right, all over the screen here. When you click on that, you can fill this out for yourself. So you can add your headshot, your name, your title, your company, and a booking link even, as well as your LinkedIn profile and your Facebook. So that when you click on your little icon, this is me in a practice environment, there you see, right, my title and my company. You have the little icons at the bottom. And if you were to, be having a great conversation with somebody you just met in Remo and want to book a follow-up meeting on the spot, instead of trading business cards, which sometimes we know just kind of doesn't materialize into anything, you can actually set it up where you can book a meeting with them through Calendly or some other scheduling app right then and there.
That's awesome. That's a great feature.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. I also say using the chat here when you're at a table for virtual networking, when you click open into the chat, you have a few different options. You can chat with people one-on-one. So Michael's my fantastic communications manager, and that's why he's in all of the pictures, because he was taking party shots.
Nice.
He was our event photographer, so these are his screenshots. So thank you again, Michael. So
I like how he told everyone to smile.
Yeah, he was doing a fantastic art direction job. But I could look for him. I could open chat, look for him, and type in his name into the search bar and find Michael and find out, catch up with him at whatever table he was at. I could also chat with my table. And that was really nice because for our sponsors, that enabled them to send links to people, hyperlinks. You can actually even upload documents. So let's say you have a digital brochure for your company, your sponsor has one that they want to share with their guests at their table. They can have that conversation and share media at the same time, which is really nice.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So also, I was going to say, moving along. So So one more thing about the chat. So there is a general chat function in Remo. We warned people against using that during the networking reception, right? Because it was going to go to every single person in the room. But so we said, take heed. And we didn't have any issues with that, thankfully. But you saw this in the highlights video when it came time for the main performance section, the main presentation section. The general chat was really great, as you can see here, for people who just wanted to share their support. We had this fabulous singer, Gavin Turek. I'm a huge fan of hers. We're really lucky to be able to book her and her guitarist, Philip Menezes, to do a little set for us. And so we had people, chatting in, showing their support, also for our honorees and so forth. And so the general chat then after the networking reception was still a nice way for everyone to participate, because at that point you aren't able to see the people who are at your table anymore. You aren't doing that virtual networking component anymore.
So was this video of her performance, was this pre-uploaded, or was she a participant that she then came on camera?
The latter. Yeah, she performed live.
Oh, nice.
It was amazing. I mean, the energy was so great. It was just a beautiful way to kick off the program. She has a fabulous voice. She's like a pop R&B singer, just really great energy. And so we did, in the midst of running the event, we did a little sound check in a separate Remo event. You can, have multiple events at the same time. And so we had a side event just to make sure the sound was coming in nice. So we had done it once before prior to the day of the event, just to get them familiar with the platform. And yeah, we had our MC introduce her. And from the back end, you can just click on a person's name. They get an invitation to join the screen from the host, and they click join with camera. And then there she was, she appeared on screen. Nice. So yeah, it was a really fun add-on. We always have a performance of some kind at our events. And so it was a great way to continue doing that this year.
Yeah, that's great. It was so easy to create that. From a feature standpoint, from what we see here of seeing the whole layout, do you see anything different as like the producer and host?
Yeah, great question. So over here, what you can see is we actually recorded the entire presentation. The entire program, so to speak. And so that allowed us to cut together that highlights video that showed, Gavin singing, snippets of her, snippets of our MC talking. This is our fabulous MC, very charismatic fellow, and also a very cool representative for California for natural resources, Wade. So that being said, so we were recording this so we would have a record of it to use after the fact. We actually ended up sharing it with a couple of attendees who couldn't make it too, who just wanted to check out the program. And then also as a host, when you click over to the participants section, that's where you have the opportunity, the ability to invite people onto the screen and take them off. Okay. There's some designations for speakers and hosts, like a sort of tiered level of usability within Remo. But I will say we kept all of our participants, even our MC Wade, as strictly a participant, just to make it easy for folks to come on screen and come off screen. They didn't have to do anything but accept that invitation to come on screen.
So it was exactly like at the moment that they needed to come on.
Yeah, I mean, we gave it a few seconds of a grace period for them to come on ahead of time, and then there's like a beat to wait to sync their audio. But that made it really seamless. So I was technically on screen this whole time, but you could never see me. I came up to say hello, and welcomed our MC on screen, and then turned my video off, disappeared the video and mic. And that enabled me to remain invisible throughout the program, but at the same time, bring speakers up and take them away.
Gotcha. Okay. And that was going to be my other question, was from the back end. I know some teams are small and mighty. How many people did it take you on the back end to make this happen?
Yeah. Technically, it was just me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I did most of it, but a big credit to also my colleague, at our administrative and operations manager, Dana Rosales, also helped me at a certain point when we wanted to bring more than a few people up on screen at the same time. She helped me organize with a few elected officials because we had an on-screen toast. And so you can bring up to about 6 people, I believe, on screen at the same time in Remo. It had been 8, but I guess it's 6 now. So I just wanted to make that, there's a little discrepancy there. But she helped me bring the electeds up and then take them off screen. But in terms of running the show, it was pretty, other than troubleshooting a few emails and calls that I got as people were logging in to the environment during the networking reception, running the actual program was fairly simple. And we had done a dress rehearsal with all of our main speakers ahead of time too, so that they knew what to expect as well.
What were those, I guess, when they're logging on, what were like the troubleshooting questions that you got most commonly?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I will say, just to preface that, I did a lot of preparatory work to try and make this transition as seamless as possible for people, transition to a new platform. So as part of our retooled benefits package for sponsors, I actually did use Zoom to do 20-minute tutorial sessions with our sponsors attendees, because every sponsorship package gets you a certain amount of tickets. So we'd have those attendees join me for 20 minutes, walk through registration, and then show them Remo through screen share to say, this is what to expect when you get into the event. And I did them spaced out over a couple of weeks, so it wasn't overwhelming, but I did about 30 of them out of about 40 plus sponsors. But I will say it was worth it. It was just, we're all kind of figuring it out as we go along right now. And I think leading with pragmatism is a big tenet of Climate Resolve's philosophy as an organization. And so we wanted to just get ahead of things, be as accommodating as possible for people, so that we're excited about it and not concerned about just, this other thing I have to figure out on the night of the event. So a couple other things. So I also created a tutorial video on YouTube and sent that out a few times with our login link. And I also used the studio package just for the last month. You can get a monthly membership and then cancel it. So it ended up being more cost effective to just become a monthly member for 2 months. And so what I used the highest end package for the last month so that we could make the event, we can give the event an unlimited timestamp. And so what I did is I opened the event on Monday ahead of our Thursday event, so that people could take the time to log into the environment and set up their business card ahead of time and just kind of take a look around.
That's smart.
And then come back on Thursday evening, just so I didn't have 300 people emailing me on the night of the event,
Yeah, so people could go in ahead of time, get used to it, bop around a little bit, which I noticed too.
Exactly.
Did you already have at the beginning, all of the tables on the first floor were all sponsored tables, right?
Correct. Yeah. Back here, and you can see it kind of in between folks. All of our tables were, these were our honoree tables up at the front. And then these were our silver sponsor tables here on the floor.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a great benefit to give to them. I've been telling people, it was actually a little fancier than our typical event because we don't have hosted tables. We don't have a sit down dinner. Another thing we did, this isn't Remo, this was, our madness, but we decided to deliver dinner to everyone's homes ahead of the event.
How are you talking about that? How did that go?
Yeah. That went well. We worked with a fantastic team, this women-owned company called Wife of the Party, based out of LA. And they had just done a birthday party for 50 people for actually the owner's husband. And they had sent coolers of ceviche and margaritas and things to people's homes ahead of time. And so our board member's granddaughter, one of our board members' granddaughters, Maya Martinez, works for them. And Maya was fabulous. And she worked with us throughout the entire event, and the owner, Lorianne, as well, to make sure that everyone got their meal ahead of time. We sent them out 1 to 2 days early, just so people could have something to heat up on the night of the event, but it also gave us a little bit of breathing room because there were a few orders that we had to redo, or something got switched around. But really,
while you're trying to produce an event.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it gave us, I think that was well done. They were fantastic. They're a full house, full production house as well. And so, part of it wasn't just dinner. We also branded bamboo plates, compostable plates with our premier sponsor, our platinum sponsor, Edison's logo. And sent out a little swag too. There was wife of the party's idea to give people succulents. So they got a little plant. And some climate resolve pins and a tote bag as well. And they helped us with the production of pretty much all of that stuff too, and the
That's
delivery.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just great overall. I will say, just kind of skipping ahead again. I mean, another nice thing about Remo was that this is our executive director, Jonathan, he gave some remarks. There's also these video features. So talking about leveraging the platform for your sponsors. I mean, all of our sponsors stuck with us. They were amazing, an amazing support group. And actually was our most successful gala to date. Which is just incredible. And so we were able to share a video thanking our sponsors, both on the floor. There's a embedded video feature on the floor next to the stage, and also show it to everyone during the program. So, so everybody got a chance to see them and they were recognized and thanked.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that your last slide on here?
It's not. I have a few. I mean, these are just our honorees. You can see here. This was, Denise, Dr. Fairchild was introduced by one of our county supervisors, Mark Ridley Thomas. And I'd just say, as you can see, people are really excited in the chat. Really happy. To celebrate everyone on their work. And I'll say, having had the networking reception ahead of time, I think it contributed to this really beautiful communal celebratory atmosphere that then carried over through the general chat. You can actually download a chat transcript afterwards. So at the end of the event, I downloaded it and I read through it. And there were just really some amazing comments from everyone. You can tell the energy was really high, but I think it helped to bring everyone together first because they really knew who was in the room.
And it probably relaxes everybody and it makes it feel a little bit more personal, right?
Exactly. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So, our 10-year anniversary, that's my last slide. We can skip through those others. So.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was very cool. Thank you for sharing those. And I guess my last question would be, would you use it again?
Good question. I think we would at this point. There's a few tweaks that I think Remo, I mean, I know they're getting feedback from a ton of people who are starting to use the platform. And so there's a few things that I hope that they work on from a product standpoint, including dropping into a random table. That was one of the things that came up a few times, especially when you go to a different floor, then you end up at a random table. And also you cannot lock tables, so you can't keep people out. Not that that's the most, not that we weren't too worried about that, but you can't physically move people from table to table yourself as a host. You can only kick them out. So let's say somebody left their tab open ahead of time and we wanted to clear space at the table that they were at for another person to come through. I was having to email people to ask them to move their icon, their avatar, to different tables. The little funky tweaks like that. Yeah, it's just that nuanced stuff, really comes out during the user experience. So it was hard to pack everything into a tutorial video or even a 20-minute session.
Well, and I know all these platforms are getting used substantially more than they were before. So now
most definitely
they're getting a ton of feedback, but I know it just takes time in the development cycle to get them all up. But
yeah, so but I would say still at this point, I think Remo, for the purposes of organizations like ours that are really looking to bring people together, not just to, celebrate great folks, but really to bring everyone together. This is the best self-directed platform that I've encountered so far.
And I guess
the others are,
practice is Remo is not a fundraising platform.
Right.
Right.
That's, very good point. Mm-hmm.
So for nonprofits, if you're looking for something that's going to generate funds or have a donation element in it, Remo is not going to be able to do that at this point, right?
Right. Right. You could potentially do something where you did a live auction and then have people have an auction site open in a separate tab, right? Have your sort of MC or your auctioneer on screen, and you can showcase, you can share slides through Remo. So you could be showing, while someone's talking at the top, a slide showing whatever auction item you're speaking about, and then have people bidding at the same time. So I think that there are ways to make it work for you, but I will say that Climate Resolve, we did our sponsorship cultivation, I mean, actually ahead of pivoting even. So that really put us at an advantage. And I think I talked about that last time. I do feel quite lucky about that. And so it was for us a matter of bringing our sponsors with us into this new experience that we had already reached out to. So yeah, we actually don't ever do auctions on site at our events. So that worked for us to switch over in this way.
Yeah, I think it all goes back to what your goal is for your event. And I love, if you guys, this is a great time. If you have any questions, drop them into the comment section wherever you are watching from. You might be on Facebook or a Facebook group or YouTube. So you're on all the channels. If you have any questions for myself or Christina on using Remo, now's a great time to drop those in. If you have any questions about planning your own virtual event, I know we've gone through a lot, and I know people are jumping in and out of the conversation, but I would love to know, this is your time to kind of ask those questions. And again, I'd love to know if anybody's in the process of planning a virtual event right now and when that's going to happen. And maybe Remo is a great opportunity for you guys to do a demo. They do demos like all the time. Aren't they weekly?
Yeah, I think they do them twice a week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so twice a week, so you can jump on for free. And I did it, and it's kind of fun. You jump in with, it's real. You jump in with people, and you're experiencing as a participant. So I think when I was in there, there was like 3 event planners at my table from all over the world. And they're just like, what are you here to use Remo for? So, and you're just all getting feedback. So it's kind of a fun experience in itself, even if you don't end up using it. But with that, I don't know, Christina, any final thoughts or takeaways?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, one, I think the thing that I guess the primary takeaway from this whole experience was how to be a good communicator in a time when everything is in flux, right? I mean, setting up the event wasn't technically hard, wasn't technically difficult, right, to run through the event. Kind of like I mentioned prior, bringing people up and off screen was pretty straightforward. It was the volume of communications with all of our attendees to make sure that they were comfortable with this, that our sponsors knew what the new format was, what to expect, how to take advantage of it so they could have the best experience possible. And also, of course, organizing everyone's catering orders too, which was this whole other thing.
Yes, I have really asked a great question that we talked about at the very beginning, but we didn't go into specifics about how many, but how many people are at your event? And then is there a max?
Yeah, so we had 275 people come in, Keely, through the course of the event. We had 330 registered, so it would work for a bigger event. And actually the 5 floors that we chose to use accommodates over 500 people. We just wanted to make sure that with those open tables, we kept on the top 3 floors, that if 2 people wanted to get a table, that all of the tables wouldn't be filled up right away, right? So we kept a lot of open space for people to do the more free-form networking. I'm not exactly sure what the capacity is. I want to say you can have at least 1,000 people in an event, though. So
is it 10 floors or 8 floors?
Yeah, if it's 10 floors at 114 seats per floor, then at least 1,000 in the environment. So, and then if you're going even bigger, you can have concurrent events happening at the same time, but that's a whole nother thing.
And then actually I have a follow-up to that. So when you're registering, do you register through a Remo setup page?
Good question. Remo doesn't have, like Eventbrite does, a link that you can send to people to say register for the event here. We used our own CRM. We used Razor's Edge, and and RENXT. And so we used a registration page both on our website for purchasing tickets, and then we also do sponsorship cultivation mostly through phone and email. Okay. So we registered people that way. But Remo does have a private event function where it's not that you just happen to find the link online and now all of a sudden you can like crash the event. If you're, because that was a concern. If you create a private event, what you do is you enter every registrant's email into Remo ahead of time, and then they have to come into Remo with that email. If they don't use the same email, like if I used my Gmail and not my Climate Resolve account, I wouldn't be able to get into the event. So there was a safety feature there.
So you had to, you set up personally your own registration, and then you took those names and put them into the platform so they could log in.
Correct. Yes. And then it does give you a little bit of reporting functionality on the back end after the event where you can see who attended and who didn't, right? Based on the people that you've entered.
Ooh, does it show you? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it shows you how much time the person spent in the event too. I mean, yeah. Yeah, at the last point that they logged in. So if they logged in multiple times, it'll show you the last login time. And so that was interesting to look at because we saw a little bit of drop off, but frankly, we went over. I mean, I thought I could beat this, it's the event planner's curse, but it was a really fabulous program actually. And so people were having a really good time. Even my staff told me they lost track of time and didn't realize it had gone over. So I'll take it.
Good, nice.
But we went over, and because it was an evening event, I think some people ended up dropping off during the program, but we still had a really solid number of people participating right up to the end.
Awesome. Cool. That's awesome. Congratulations on pulling off a successful event in the middle of COVID and achieving even a higher goal. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So if people wanted to reach out to you for either more information or to learn more about Climate Resolve, where should they go?
Yeah, they can email me, kvonhoffman@climateresolve. I'm not sure how best to share that, but I'm happy for you to drop my email into the chat. That works. And otherwise, what's that?
Your little banner. Is it .com?
Yeah. It's .org.
Or for your email.
For my email, yeah, it's kvonhoffman@climateresolve.org. Yeah.
Okay. So
and
you guys, if this is right or if this is wrong, but we're just going to put it up right now. Is that right?
Almost 2 N's in Hoffman.
Oh, I always do that.
Yeah, it's okay. So you and lots of folks, it's totally fine.
I think I got it right on the graphic. So this is a great example also of you guys, we're using StreamYard right now. And Christina and I, we've used this twice for our interviews. And as you can see, I could put up a banner easily, just like that, or where those questions were. I can hide it. I could even have it scroll across the bottom if I wanted to, like a ticker.
Yeah, StreamYard's very cool. I hope I get to use this at some point when it makes the most sense for us, because it seems like a really fantastic platform.
Yeah, honestly, I think my favorite thing about it is the ease of having a guest come on.
Right, totally. And it's very comfortable, and kudos to you because you always make this really fun. So thank you. I will say also, we do have an event website if folks want to check it out. So it's coolestinla.org. And it has that the full highlight video and some other images and feedback from our guests. So if people want to check that out.
I got that right?
Also, yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and their website's beautiful. Yeah. I think that's a big part of it too, is to kind of recap the conversation. You put together a very well presented, clear website. You put together a 20-minute video walkthroughs for your sponsors that actually guide them through registration. You also had a video that just walks through the functionality, right? That was just up there for people to watch.
Yeah. So 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I did 20-minute live sessions, and then the 5-minute tutorial video.
Okay. So tutorial video, website breakdown, opened it up ahead of time, which I think is so smart for people to go in, get comfortable with it before the actual event. Obviously, they have to choose if they want to do that or not, but to have the option to do that, I think is great. Just gets you around those education. And then I loved, and I took a note that you guys created an FAQ table that had the Climate Resolve staff in there that could answer any questions. Somebody could pop in at any point. I think that's brilliant, other than just trying to figure it all out in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really helpful.
You can have like a face-to-face. You can actually hear them. Anytime, I think, you can't be in person, but I think if at least you can have a face-to-face and you can hear someone, you feel more supported.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And just whatever generation of attendee you have, I mean, ours kind of runs the gamut from teens to, silent generation. So for us, it was a whole level of experience with technological platforms, whole range of experience. And so I think, having the comfort of knowing that a real human person was on the other side was, definitely helpful.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
You guys make sure you go to coolestinla.org so you can check out the website. And that wraps up our interview for today. Kristina, thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Dana.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to upload this video to positiveequation.com on the blog, and this will be saved. So if you guys want to go back and rewind and go through another section, you can totally do that. I think Remo's an unbelievable platform that has a lot of different features and functionality. I think platforms are still figuring things out as what works best for user experience, but dependent upon what you're looking for and what your goals are for your event, I think it's an incredible option. So thank you guys for joining me today, and have a great rest of your Wednesday.